Namaste, I'm Jyoti. I'm the founder director of Ajantavihara Institute of Spiritual Sciences. Once again, today I bring you updates, energy updates for full moon. This is the full moon of October that we are talking about, and now we have 2 more to go for this year. What is happening and how can we tune into these full moon energies? As in all my videos, which I truly believe and practice, full moon energies are very powerful energies, because today water frequencies are really high, elemental frequencies are very high, all other elements, earth frequency is also very vibrant. Imagine moon, earth and sun are all aligned in one single line, right? And because it's so vibrant, because the frequencies are so high, you don't have to put in too much of efforts. You can just tune into this and start to absorb it. But for that you need to believe. If we do not believe, we create this huge block of energy. It's like a huge wall, a barricade, a barrier in front of us. And we don't allow healing energies to come inside us. So first it starts by challenging your own belief system and saying, am I ready to believe? Am I ready to believe that I can heal on full moon? Am I ready to believe that my body is a machine which can cleanse itself and has a certain cycle, which I can utilize, which I can use to my benefit? It is very important to believe. If you don't believe, then there is nothing that one can do. Um, as I've always mentioned, and we practice here at Ajanta also, full moon is all about cleansing. New moon is all about purging. Full moon is all about cleansing. Now, every month I have been encouraging you to look into one aspect or other of your cleansing process, your healing process. Today, once again, the focus is on forgiveness. It is very important to forgive, but whom to forgive is very important. When I say forgive, most of you are going to sit down and say, oh, okay, these are the 5 people, I want to forgive them for whatever they've done. This person's caused me trauma, this person's insulted me, this person's neglected me, this person's treated me very badly. I want to forgive all of them. It's not going to help. That's not what cleansing is all about. Your first forgiveness has to be to self, and that is most difficult, because what are you forgiving yourself for? You're not the one who did the mistake. You're not the one who made somebody suffer. You're the one who suffered. You're the victim here. Then why do you need to forgive yourself? For 2 reasons. One, you need to forgive yourself for trusting somebody to put you in that situation. You need to forgive yourself for allowing somebody to cause that pain, that grief to you. You need to forgive yourself for allowing maybe once, twice, multiple times for somebody to abuse you, to emotionally put you down, to neglect you. You need to forgive yourself first. That's very important. Once you have forgiven yourself is when you move on to forgiving somebody else. Now, who are those people you're going to forgive? People who are in your current present? Yes, of course. But this full moon is also about letting go of aspects of you which have served the purpose, which you do not need anymore, because you're changing. Every day you're changing. And if you're changing every day, you need to allow yourself to be at that frequency from where you can go further up in your frequency and not down, which means aspects of you, parts of you, which are still wounded or which are still stuck in that trauma, in that past which is painful, past that holds the fear, past that's not letting you move ahead. You need to forgive those parts of you, extend gratitude to those parts of you, and let those go tonight. Tonight, this full moon is all about forgiving yourself, all parts of you. That little child who could not trust the neighbor, that little girl or boy who could not get the grades that parents expected, that teenager who ended up making wrong friends, got into wrong influence, failed, that young adult who did not know how to go about in a relationship and made some really bad choices, for someone who just got exhausted while studying in college or university and went in for a course change, or just a dropout, or could not complete the studies. For all those of you who are struggling to meet up to the expectations of your families, your partners, your bosses, your team members, yourself, please forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for constantly, continuously trying to be that machine that is overworking. Forgive yourself for that human being who is not allowing herself or himself to give attention to their needs, their wants, their desires. Forgive yourself. This full moon is all about forgiveness. How to go about? There is no process as such. You can listen to any meditation, you can do the breathing exercise which I tell every time, the deep breathing, so all your chakras can come into an alignment. And when you breathe deeply, of course, your mind is receiving this message that life is coming into me, new beginning is coming into me. That's why breathing really works, and I always encourage it as a day-to-day practice, as well as full moon and new moon. But what you can essentially do is, if you feel comfortable writing, sit down and ask yourself, what are the things I'm ashamed of? What are the things I'm angry about? What are the things that have caused me a lot of sadness, pain? What are the things I'm not able to let go? Which are the people in my life I'm not able to forgive? Which are the people which are still in my memory? Which are the people who still control me in my mind? Start asking yourself, write down, in your phone, on the, take a notebook, write it there, do a voice recording, do a video recording, talk to your friend if that helps. But I would discourage you talking to anybody else, because you're forgiving yourself. So the one person that you need to talk to is you. So maybe what helps is, and this is what I normally do in a lot of my guided meditations and even in my transpersonal coaching, is start to pick up certain time periods. Say for example 0 to 5 years, whatever you remember, 6 to 10 years, whatever you remember, 11 to 15 years, whatever you remember, 16 to, and so on and so forth. You can just sit down and say, okay, this is what happened there, and this is what that person made me feel. Good, you have identified where the source of your grief is coming from, but that person made you feel that because you got attached to that pain, you got attached to their reaction, their insecurities which they were projecting on you, but you got attached for a long time. And when we get attached to an emotion, especially if it's any kind of pain or anger or disappointment, or feeling let down, and we stay in that for a very long time, that means there are some inner wounds of our own which need to be healed, and this person or that person has just ended up triggering that. So sit down and maybe do these these divisions and say, okay, what I felt, whatever you can remember. You don't have to do your whole life. If you're 60, 70, you don't have to do it now. You can do it every full moon, and you still have 2 more full moons to go. So till year end you can actually do this. In fact, you can do this every full moon. Release all that you're holding inside you, which is making you judge yourself, which is making you be so critical about yourself, which is making you not forgiving to yourself. So this full moon is all about forgiving yourself, forgiving those aspects of you which do not serve you anymore, and you still have not been able to let go. Forgiving those fears of yours which are stopping you from maybe starting a beautiful relationship, trusting somebody. Forgive yourself for all those voices outside, other people, that's eating you up inside, or that made you push a person away, that made you hate a person, that made you hate yourself, that made you judge yourself, or that made you end a relationship, or that made you not start a relationship. Forgive yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Forgive yourself. And if you feel genuinely somewhere something went wrong, then forgive yourself and say, I take the responsibility. And if you feel there's a correction required, then do that correction. Take that action. Action could be something as simple as a message to somebody. Action could be something as simple as looking into the mirror and saying, hey, you're so beautiful, and you're so kind, and you're so nurturing and caring, and I forgive you, and I allow myself to love you. So there you go, you're forgiving yourself, you're looking into the mirror. Or forgive that person because of whom you felt you started to change and become a difficult person, a negative person, an angry person. But practice forgiveness, and practice forgiveness with self, for self. That is very important. I hope you have a great full moon, and I hope you're able to experience forgiveness. Focus on self. That is the key here. And when I say focus on self, doesn't mean that you sit there and you just start to say, oh, I forgive myself, oh, I forgive myself for this, oh, forgive. No, go through the whole process, feel it, allow yourself that feeling once again, and then go deeper, go deeper. There's a lot of introspection that's required. Go much deeper, allow yourself to feel all emotions. Take that emotion to the peak, because then it becomes easy to release it, because you've experienced it. You don't want to experience it anymore. You've reached your limit. Wishing you all the very best with your healing.